and welcome back to a year in the TikTok of AntiDietPilot. So before we go forward, I just kind of want to give you guys, it's a new year, and I've been thinking about what I'm going to do with this channel. I'm still not ready to let it go. Like, I understand that I'm sure my content has gotten kind of repetitive, and, views have dropped off, watch time has dropped off, and I don't really care. But I've been thinking a little bit more about this channel and how I want to handle things, and I'm gonna kind of keep it in line with what my motto is for 2024. I'm not doing New Year's resolutions. I'm doing mottos, and my 3 mottos for the year are use what you have, finish what you started, and do what you want, not what you feel like. So, what I'm going to be doing primarily this year for this channel is working on finishing some of the different series I started, the different year in the TikToks, work harder on getting through the different podcast series that I've started, all of that stuff. And kind of thinking about the direction of this channel going into 2026 and beyond, if it should stick around or not. I'm not sure yet. Fat acceptance seems to be dropping off, and if TikTok does in fact get banned, these year in the TikToks things aren't really gonna work so well, are they? Maybe I could get a VPN, do it that way. Who knows? Anyway, so that's basically where we are. But for now, we're just gonna continue covering AntiDietPilot. So without further ado, let's jump into it. So, 24 goals for 2024. So we're basically exactly a year behind now. Let's see. 1, make a rich man my fiance, more Pilates, start seeing a dietitian, get back to teaching fitness, transition from Gel X to Russian Gel. I have no idea what the fuck that means. Take more pictures of myself. That's an interesting one. Go on at least 2 getaways/vacations, invest more time in my friendships, keep making new friends in my new city, get ready every day. Do you not get ready? Okay. Go to both of my yearly dental appointments. Perfect my go-to, I think it's supposed to be makeup routine. Cook at home 90%, eat out 10%. That's a fabulous goal for her. Post at least once a day on TikTok, post on Instagram twice per week, post TikToks on YouTube Shorts, devote 1 hour of me time before work, find 1 new investment opportunity, become a back sleeper, stop buying polyester clothing, smile at strangers, stop Ubering, trains are faster anyway, spend more time with my pup, and wake up earlier. Honestly, as someone who did the New Year's resolution things, definitely less is more. Not trying to shade her, because I've done this too, where I have like over a dozen New Year's resolutions. And for a while I kind of thought that worked for me, but then I realized I get everything kind of half done that way. And I don't know, I'm trying this new thing this year, like I said at the beginning of the video, with trying mottos instead of resolutions, just to see how it goes. So, interesting. Curious if you guys have a motto or New Year's resolution. What is it? Please let me know in the comments.
I would rather suffer through a sore throat than use any of the throat relieving options on the market because they taste awful. But today I have to get something. Like, I just have to, because my throat is irritating the crap out of me. So anyways, I'm at Target and I found caramel flavored cough drops. And at the end of the day,
Honestly, though, anything from Ricola is going to be pretty decent. Like, Ricola is fucking amazing when it comes to sore throats. As someone who gets sick fairly often, Ricola is it. I really like their berry flavor ones personally. And there's menthol in it. One thing to know, read the directions and don't eat too many throat lozenges too close together. It will give you diarrhea. That out from firsthand experience. Anyway, but like the best thing to do if you have like a really sore throat. So the menthol does kind of numb the throat, but if you eat that and then take a drink of water, The um the menthol sensation in your throat is strong, but like it completely eradicates the sore throat for a little while, and it feels like almost like anything that was any of the muscles or anything that had been tense because your throat was sore, it's like it relaxes them all at the same time. It's awesome.
Everything else tastes like ass, so like these might not taste like ass. Spoiler alert, they're freaking amazing. And they have an ooey gooey caramel center, and you actually get throat relief from them. I love them so. I would.
Honestly, it's Ricola. It's Ricola. Ricola is the best throat lozenge brand on the market that I found.
Someone asked me how I can get Botox if I'm anti-diet because those industries are one and the same. And to that I say, it's the same way that I work out almost every single day, eat balanced and nutritious meals, but I don't diet. Botox did not change the way my face looks. Yeah, I can't raise my eyebrows or, get those little lines when I crunch in, but
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That we'll finish listening to her, but those are in no way similar things. Working out and eating right and but not dieting is somehow in the same league as getting Botox. No, let's like that whole talk about how can you be body positive. Here's the thing. I personally feel like I don't like the narrative that body positivity means that you don't change anything about yourself. Now, granted, do I ever want to get Botox? Fuck no. I want nothing to do with Botox. I don't like it. I don't like the way it makes your face look. From the sounds of it, it sounds very painful, and it's fucking expensive for something that is purely cosmetic. For me, not worth it. Not even close. The thing is, though, is that I think that this might be a bit of a controversial opinion. I think that you can be body positive and do things like get Botox and stuff as long as you're doing it to make you happy. If it's something that you enjoy doing, just as you can do makeup and still be body positive. I if it's something that you enjoy doing, some people really love doing these like beauty maintenance, beauty procedures. I'm not one for it, but I do love a good face mask. Are those comparable? That's kind of up to you. I think that the face mask is probably ultimately unnecessary, just like Botox is unnecessary. The face mask is far less invasive, but they're still kind of beauty routines. And so I think that you can do Botox and be body positive. I find the way that she's trying to justify it though incredibly hypocritical.
like my face looks exactly the same. Desire to get Botox is no different than somebody who goes and buys an anti.
Your face doesn't look exactly the same though because your forehead is frozen, meaning you can't make the full range of expressions. That's I'm sorry, no. Like I'm perfectly fine with her doing Botox. If that's her thing, if she enjoys doing it, by all means. By all means, do what you like with your own body. I'm all for body autonomy, and I don't think that necessarily affects body positivity, but to say that it doesn't change your face is one just an outright fucking lie. Number one, if it didn't change your face at all, you wouldn't be doing it. And to act as though Botox is somehow less problematic than dieting and intentionally losing weight is where she fucking loses me because it's just absolutely fucking hypocritical. This is the same way that I think that you can be body positive and try to lose weight. It's about taking care of yourself. It's about doing things that make you happy. It's about doing things that make you confident. And while you can love your body, you can still do things for yourself that alter your appearance in a way that you prefer. Like I think the difference for me body positivity is about rejecting the cultural pressures of beauty. If you don't like doing your eyebrows but you do it because you feel like this weird pressure, societal pressure to make sure that you adhere to so many beauty routines, then that's where body positivity comes into play. If you regularly do your eyebrows because you like going to the spa or the salon or whatever and getting your eyebrows done, you just like it, by all means, do that. If you really love the way it makes your eyebrows look, go ahead. I got my eyebrows done exactly once and it was painful. I didn't care for it in the slightest. and the result was minimal to me. Like, it was not worth the money, and it was not worth the pain, and it was not worth the time to do. However, if you really like going and getting your eyebrows done, or getting Botox, or getting facials, or going to the spa, or whatever the fuck it is, by all means, you do you, as long as you are doing it for you and not through some sense of pressure, either directly, meaning friends, family, boyfriend, husband, that sort of thing, or societal. As long as you're doing it for you, I think it's body positive. But don't come in here and try to say that getting Botox is somehow better than dieting. Don't fucking start me with that. You are injecting literal poison into your face. And if you like that, I am not going to shame you for it, but I am going to shame your hypocrisy. Because it's fucking bullshit that you think that a moderate calorie restriction in order to lose weight, especially for those that are morbidly obese, or even a little overweight, as long as it is not a crazy restriction and it is perfectly healthy, that is somehow worse than injecting literal poison into your face is fucking bonkers.
Wrinkle cream, a vitamin C for brightening, hyaluronic acid for smoothing and plumping. It's literally the exact same thing. The only thing is mine is guaranteed results and those are usually gimmicks. Someone asked me how I can get both.
Um, see, see, I don't process with hyaluronic acids and different creams. Do I think you need all those creams? No, but I don't like that she's saying mine is guaranteed results and those are gimmicks. I mean, she's entitled to her opinion, but the whole thing about this is just her justifying her choices, while at the same time it feels like she's shaming the choices of others. And that's what kind of pisses me off about her, in all honesty. It's the absolute and utter hypocrisy where she tries to justify her choices in this framework of rhetoric that she subscribes to, while simultaneously shaming others for something that quite frankly is adjacent to what she does. I don't like this.
The ED recovery gods are fucking testing me, bitch. Because tell me why. I just went in for a follow up on my forehead and I absolutely love my forehead. It's nice and frozen. I love the look. Okay. I just want a nice smooth forehead. Okay. Now I'm like, okay, well, I want my chin to match. Like, I just want my chin to be as equally smooth as my forehead. Okay. So I go in and she says, yes, let's do Botox in your chin. We'll smooth it out so it matches your forehead. I said, perfect. Love that for me. As she's injecting me, she goes, yeah, and also, like, if you get a little masseter Botox, it will really slim out your face. And also, like, lip filler, because your features are really big, but then your lips. And I'm like, okay. I just wanted a smooth chin. I am not insecure about those things. I personally think chubby cheeks make you look younger and keep you younger, and I really don't want lip filler. So, the ED recovery gods are.
So it's interesting. I would like your opinion on this interaction. To me, I'm like, welcome to the beauty realm, especially when you have money for Botox. They are going to try to upsell you. And this is why I don't understand how you can say that, like, dieting is diet culture and toxic beauty standards, but Botox isn't. This is part of the industry. This is literally part of the industry, playing up things that you aren't even insecure about, but acting like it is an issue to upsell you for more procedures. Whether you like it or not, Botox is part of the beauty industry, which ties directly into diet culture and diet industry of the gimmicky shit. It's connected. It's connected. They're not that different from each other, and this is why, like, I don't have a problem with people doing what they want with their own body, but I absolutely find it detestable and absolutely fucking frustrating that people try to act like one gimmick, one calling it a gimmick. I have the word gimmick stuck in my head now. It's not so much a gimmick, but one procedure, one beauty ritual, one beauty routine or whatever is somehow superior to the other. Most in most cases, whatever routine you have is buying in to those standards and the beauty culture to some degree. And I don't necessarily think that that's a bad thing or that's wrong, as long as you're not letting it dictate your entire life. But to say that when you just said in the previous TikTok that we were looking at that somehow Botox is better than dieting or wrinkle creams or hyaluronic acid or whatever the fuck it is that you were talking about is like, no, it really isn't. It's all part of the same industry. They're still trying to upsell you. And I'm gonna leave it there. I would love to hear your opinions. If she's happy with it, that's great. I don't like it. I don't personally like it, but if she's happy with it, that's fine. I don't understand the desire to have a frozen forehead and not have the muscles or like and like paralyzing the muscles in your forehead to have a I don't really understand it. I don't, but that's me.
Is $150 an hour like reasonable for a dietitian? Or am I just like crazy? Why do I feel like that's really expensive? I've already agreed to it and I do need an anti-diet, intuitive eating, ED aware dietitian. So maybe my options are just a little bit more limited, but I found one. I didn't really price shop or anything. So I'm just wondering, and it makes me think like if this is the norm, this is why people diet and they do stupid ass diets that don't help them in any way and they think that they're doing something amazing because dietitians are so unreachable. $150 an hour? Holy shit! Is $150
I would say $150 for an hour with a dietitian is fairly standard in all honesty, especially without insurance. Welcome to the US medical system and my well also okay, no, a dietitian. So there's a registered dietitian, so they do have to go. I think maybe it was nutritionist. I think one of them isn't regulated and the other one is. But I think dietitian is the regulated one. Oh, I like this. Tell people it's a hair or nail appointment and suddenly it's reasonable. I mean, kind of. I don't think $150 for an hour with a dietitian sounds unreasonable to me. But yeah, this is why people figure things out because it isn't very cost effective to do it, especially if you can figure out the information on your own. But can you weed through misinformation and questionable resources? That's a big question. But like for as much money as we've seen her spend on like Botox and shit, I'm like surprised that she thinks that 150 is like outrageously expensive for a dietitian. Welcome to the medical field. Like I don't think that that's unreasonable. Do I go to a dietitian? No, but I don't really feel the need to. If you feel the need to go to a dietitian, $150 as the entry point. It's not like you're going every day or anything. $150 for an hour doesn't seem unreasonable to me.
As most of y'all already know, I'm a serial rich man dater. I don't date brokies. 2 weeks ago, I went on a date with this guy who was explicitly clear that he was not looking for anything serious, just wanted to have fun. By the way, he's 34 and he wants one girl that he can like hang out with and spend all his money on. And that's what I'm wanting, so I said, perfect. So the date, dinner, drinks was so good. We ended up going back to his place. We didn't do anything, but we did have more wine. We just were talking. He was such a gentleman. And I left just feeling like that was an amazing date. He was in New York for the past 2 weeks for work and just came back. And while he was in New York, we were texting like every couple days. We were making plans to hang out Saturday, 2 days ago. So, this is the part of the conversation where I'm like, so did you get me a present? Hint, hint. And he's like, oh, you like still just want to do that? And I'm like, do what? Like, he's just like, well, I really liked you. And in my brain, I'm like, not enough to give me a present? He elaborates and he says, I just thought we had a really great day. We had such good chemistry. Like, I would like to see where things take us. I told him I need a couple days to think about this because that was not in the cards for me. So that is what I'm currently doing. I'm taking a couple days to think about it. And I just want to let you know. Thanks for listening.
So I guess the one thing, like, when you guys have that arrangement, I get it, and I do find it. Someone puts a comment here. So wait, if he liked you, you get less. Help me understand. I kind of agree with that. I don't understand the idea of spending a bunch of money, but when you actually see like a potential relationship, all of a sudden you pull back. I don't really understand that. I would like to say something that really caught me off guard was he left, he came back. They've just been in kind of this, even like she said, this kind of casual thing where they're just hanging out, but and he's kind of paying for everything, and so it's this kind of exchange thing. I don't really understand why she would expect a present. Um, and it would not even dawn on me to ask if that person got it. Given this setup, it would not even dawn on me to ask if that person got me a present. Like that would be, that's a little weird to me. But it's her life, and she knows this type of dating, or is it dating, situationship, whatever, um, better than I do. But I do find it weird, like if he's catching feelings, that's one thing. I don't really understand why, if he is developing feelings, that would result in him spending less money on her. I don't fully understand that line of logic. That was interesting.
Cut this out. I'm done. Take me out. One time somebody sarcastically asked me, like, what do I hope to gain out of creating the content that I do? I spent the majority of my adult life being so stressed out about food. I want people to know that you do not have to feel like that around food in order to find health. You don't need to force feed yourself food that you don't want. The research shows that being that stressed around food is so bad for our health.
Okay, genuinely would like to see those that research, those studies, whatever the hell she's referring to, because she's just like, the research shows. What research? What research? The only thing I will give her is that I think that this that stitch where it's like you're 38 grams behind your protein goal, try better tomorrow. I think it's far better to not reach. And not only that, but she was like taking protein supplements, like the protein bars and stuff. And don't get me wrong, I eat protein bars too. I drink protein shakes. There's nothing wrong with the protein, with like the protein products. But to one be, you said it's 10. The stitch was like, oh, it's 10 p.m. Let's see, we're at 29 seconds. I'm gonna go back just so we can. So its point of view, it's 10 p.m. and you're still 38 grams behind your protein goal. And then it shows her eating these kind of like protein. I thought these were like, God, this thing keeps wanting to. Oh yeah, protein cakes. So these are protein cakes. But here's the thing: there's still gonna be a shit ton of carbs in these. Like it's meant to be an alternative to a piece of cake, not necessarily a protein supplement. And it's, I think that even if you're 38 grams behind your protein goal, like if you're not hungry, don't stress about it. I do think that being overly rigid with your expectations of yourself on any given day isn't going to be helpful no matter what your goal is. And with the exception of maybe like if you're in a bodybuilding competition or something and things have to be like super, or you're a serious athlete and things have to be super regimented, that's one thing. But for like the average person, it's 10 p.m. and you're still 38 grams behind your protein goal. If it's 10 p.m., you're not going to be working off the energy that you gain from these. It's better to me, it's better to just forego the protein. If you're not hungry, if you're hungry, have one. But I don't think that yeah, I disagree with what this TikTok is showing.
Stress around food is so bad for our health. Important to remember that what's healthy for one person's body isn't going to be healthy for another. So if the version of health you picked is no longer serving you, it's probably time to explore other options outside of diet culture. I'm going on a second date, so I thought I'd try the little like sexy sweater method because I'm just going over to his place for dinner. This man just texted me and he asked if we can do dinner at 10. No, we can't do dinner at 10. You knew we had a date today. We planned it 3 days ago. So I'm going to take this sweater off and then we're going to get some tequila going. I was literally about to do a story time video about why I'm giving this man a second chance and why I think he'd be actually good boyfriend material. I just simply told him that is not going to work for me. We had a date at 8, so have a great night. And then these are the same men who are like, I don't want a girl who wants to use me for my money. Well, if you can't treat me right, I gotta get something out of this. So once again, TikTok was right and I was wrong, and I should always listen to the girls, and I don't know why, I just think I know better. I don't. Cheers to going back to using men for money only.
I don't know how much I like that attitude of go back to using men for only money. Um, but I do understand her frustration. I'm very much a stickler for times, and like if I'm getting ready to go over to your house, meaning that it's probably within an hour or two of when we're supposed to meet, and you change the plans on me with no real reason, like if it's an emergency or something like serious came up, that's one thing, but just because you didn't prepare well enough or something, that would seriously irk me. And at 10, dinner at 10? Now, granted, I'm a bit of I have old person habits. I eat dinner at like 5, like most work days, and on the weekend I prefer to have my lunch and dinner kind of together at 3 so that way I just don't have to really worry about eating for the rest of the day. But like that would piss me off. I'm not gonna that would 100% piss me off. I will give that to her.
Don't get in the habit of collecting red flags. You're gonna have a wagon full of them.
So, the caption, she's responding to a comment that says they get one chance and that is already pushing their luck. I don't need them to show me who they are twice. And then the caption says, POV, you gave men a second chance and they canceled at the last minute. They didn't cancel, they tried to postpone, but it was still rude as fuck. So, let's go ahead and hear what the rest of what this says.
You only need one. He is who he's going to be, and he showed it to you. Here's another thing I heard a lady say. Don't let a man have to tell you twice he don't want you. Okay, it's been 6 years you didn't like him. You want to do 6 more? Don't get in the habit of collecting.
So, yeah, nothing really to add there. I actually really support her decision on this one.
I need to rant about this wretched old Karen that lives in my apartment. My apartment has one of these indoor dog runs. One dog is allowed in here at a time. The dog run itself is structured a little bit more like this, where you enter from the inside of the building. A lot of pet parents will just stand here in the cold and watch their dog do their business. Because only one dog is out here at a time, I just watch him from the door. Once he's done, I trained him to come to the door. I go pick up his poop, and then we move on with our lives. So I see Karen and her dog walking through the long, skinny hallway, and like a nice neighbor, I look at her and I smile. She looks at me with the most annoyed face, just tell that she's annoyed that there's someone else using the dog run before she got to it. I just brushed it off. I turned around and I'm watching my dog in the dog run. She takes her dog into the playroom, which is right next to the dog run and has giant windows so you can look into the dog run. Less than 90 seconds later, Karen comes out of the dog playroom and informs me that my dog has pooped, so it's time for me to go clean it up and leave. I turn my head from where I'm actively watching my dog and I tell Karen, my dog is trained and he comes to the door when he's done going potty. She repeats herself as if I didn't hear her the first time. I watch your dog poop, he's done. I inform her of my dog's pooping habits, which is that he sometimes goes more than once. I informed her it's been less than 2 minutes since my dog has been outside and he'll come to the glass when he's ready. And almost right on cue, my dog comes to the door. We both look at him. We both look at each other. I smile. She's not smiling. I go pick up my dog's poop, and as I'm leaving, I tell her I hope she has a better morning. I need to rant about this.
Honestly though, like there's okay, I will give her this. There's a number of older people, probably some younger too. Like actually, yes, younger. Like there's just a variety of people that have absolutely zero patience. Like don't get me wrong, I'm a pretty impatient person, and so that is why I have my watch on me now, where I'm like, okay, what is a reasonable? Because my perception of time, just as I'm like standing there and feeling it, will vary greatly based on what I'm doing, and I hate waiting. But I've recognized that in myself as I have a very short fuse and a short tolerance in my perception for when I'm waiting. So that's why I look at my watch and I'm like, how long am I willing to wait before I say something? I think about it. Usually it's about 10 minutes or so, depending on whatever the activity is. And then I look at my watch and I wait for that time to elapse before I say something. So many people don't do this and they believe that their perception of what's happening or their sense of urgency because they weren't able to just like go and get it done with to supersede everything else. It's absolutely fucking bonkers. Don't get me wrong. I understand. I'm a rather impatient person myself and I fucking hate waiting. I despise like having to stand there and wait, partially because I have family members that like will get ready to go, and then as we are literally okay, we're heading out the door, they have like three things that they suddenly remember that they have to do before we leave, and it irritates the shit out of me. They also have gotten irritated with me because I'm like, okay, I'm ready to go, and I can tell, and we've lived together for a number of years, because I'm like, okay, I'm ready to go, and I know them, and I know how long it takes them to do something, and judging from how they're ready now, it's going to take them about another 10, maybe 15 minutes before they're ready. So I'm like, okay, let me know when you're ready. I'm gonna go take care of something. Usually it's like emptying the dishwasher or a chore I'm gonna have to do later. And sometimes it absolutely enrages them and they get so frustrated and they like rant about how impatient I am because I go off and I start doing another activity while I'm waiting for them. So like there's layers to impatience in my life. And I understand the frustration of dealing both with people that have unreasonable expectations and then also being that person that can have unreasonable expectations when I'm waiting. This is something where Karen should have pulled out her phone or her watch and waited a solid 5 minutes before even saying anything. And 5 minutes is actually pretty short. Again, 10 minutes would have been my thing there. But surprisingly enough, if things have failed the way she says they uh did, and in general, I'm tend to lean towards believing her on this one. Um, I know how frustrating that can be to deal with impatient people that like are unreasonable because their perception is skewed and they don't even realize it.
It's so mean. Don't do it. It's the meanest thing you could do. They're gonna cry. It's gonna hurt their feelings. Don't.
Honestly, so the caption says spending 45 minutes editing a 3-sentence email to cancel future sessions with the dietitian I met once. So there like I understand this anxiety of when you're like not wanting to do it, and I have a far bigger tendency of ghosting people. Um, that especially if I've only met once or whatever, and I don't want to deal with it. Like it takes active. It's something that I've really worked on over the years. Is send an email at least let someone know it's very rude to just ghost them. So I make more of an effort to actually put it into words, but the thing is just keep it very professional, like you're leaving a company and it's like we're not going to work together. Thank you so much for your service, but I'm going in a different direction, sort of thing. um and it makes it so much easier. Is it overly sterile? Yes, but at least you communicate with them and you got your point across. But with that, I think we're going to have to end this part here, at least our covering of AntiDietPilot. I do have some stuff I want to share though. So, my break is pretty much over at the time of this recording. It is January 5th, and I have to go back to work tomorrow. I have had, since the 21st until now, I've had off for winter break because I work as a teacher. And it's been lovely, and I don't hate my job, but I'm certainly not looking forward to going back. I've quite enjoyed my time off. But something that I'm doing this year, uh, and that I already started, was this 52 weeks of baking 2025 challenge list. So I did the new year, new recipe. I think I called it new bake in my post. But I took a King Arthur Zoom class for making croissants. And I made my first croissants, and I think they came out very well. I was very happy with it. Here, so we'll just kind of run through a little bit. So I've already gotten all of the ingredients for the New Year, new recipe. Great British Bake Off technical bake. Now I went for a really easy recipe. Someone provided a list in the comments on this post, and I went for a very easy lemon thyme bundt cake. I have everything for it. I haven't made it yet, but I have everything for it. Recreated, which is a recreate store-bought treat or local favorites. I'm making my mom's homemade Reese's peanut butter cups. They end up being peanut butter cup bars, but they're fabulous and I really love them. And then we have Lunar New Year, which I'm trying an entirely new recipe for. So I'm really looking forward to this. All of the like, there's some that are based on certain years or decades. Like this one is something old. The recipe has to be at least over 100 years old. And then I think I saw 1970s here. And then I feel like there's probably another one in here somewhere. For those, I'm going to be using Dylan B. Hollis's Baking Yesteryear cookbook for those, which I'm really excited about because I really love that cookbook. And then if I can just show you, so something else also is, so I I had a Chat GPT make me a list of prompts for the Duolingo Bird Duo, and it's 365 prompts that get progressively more unhinged and menacing as they go, and that's kind of my like art thing for the year. I highly doubt I'm going to get through the full 365 art prompts in a single year, but when I finish them, I'm going to share them kind of as I go on Reddit, and then once I finish them, I'm going to upload one every day on like my Instagram or something. And that's kind of what I'm doing with these. This was the first one. This was based on the first prompt, and I was quite happy with how he turned out. And then this was my croissants. I did everything au pan au chocolat, chocolat. I can't pronounce French stuff. Anyway, but instead of chocolate, they have almond paste in them because that's what I prefer. So I was very happy that these were all made on the Zoom King Arthur baking class. I do recommend them. A lot of their, while it's super helpful, I don't see myself taking many more of their classes, mostly because I can get by with recipes pretty easily typically. But croissants were really intimidating for me, so I really enjoyed that. And then they have a pasta making class that I eventually want to take. But it was super fun. It was a fun way to end my vacation. So very nice. I quite enjoyed it. Moving on to manhwa. Not a whole lot, again, still has been happening. One Husband is Enough seems to be taking a very sad turn of events that I'm not sure how I feel about. Behind Her Highness's Smile is gaining traction, so I'm enjoying that. And Not Your Typical Reincarnation Story. Like, it's just, we're at the very satisfying point of the story where everything's starting to wrap up and the wrongdoers are being exposed, and I'm just really enjoying it. When it comes to Tappy Tune. So we have My Evil Husband is Obsessed with the Wrong Person, and My Husband and I Cannot Live in the Same World. These two um feature like very, very toxic male leads to the point of, I think that this one is definitely abusive. This one's kind of bordering on abuse. They're both obsessive, they're both controlling. So if you like a dark romance, like a toxic romance, it might be something interesting to look into. Don't trust the female lead. It actually seems to be kind of following along a little bit with Not Your Typical Reincarnation Story, except that it's the main like wrongdoers are children, and we don't know if like the female lead is aware like she's in a story or if she's just a horrid person. But we find it, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Anyway, when she goes back, she gets isekai'd into the realm of her story, right? And she tries to be extra nice to the heroine in the hopes that her character won't die, because this is another one of being isekai'd into. For her, she's kind of like a side villain. She was someone that abused her character was someone that abused the protagonist as a child, but she goes back, she adopts the same girl, plays out the story, but tries to be like the model stepmother and still ends up dying at the hand of the like story justice givers. I don't remember who it was, if it was knights or something. I don't remember exactly which one. But she ends up dying, and as she's dying, she sees the heroine smile, meaning that she planned for uh this character's death from the get-go and she didn't understand. So not only is she isekai'd and she dies once, but then she's sent back in time and decides to adopt the villain of the story instead. And that's where I left off because I only have so many points that I can invest in these. So it's interesting though, and it's worth going forward. The cafe owner is an S-class guide. I think I've already talked about this one, and nothing much has changed with this one. The Count's secret maid, the girl that says she's ugly and people have called her ugly, but she's ugly by anime standards, which means she's still very pretty. Um, has been kind of moving along, and we kind of get the sense that the count is falling for his maid, which I do like. I'm not gonna lie, I do like. And I'll be interested to see where this kind of goes going forward. Finally, I just wanted to touch on some of these EDX courses. So, EDX has a bunch of courses from different universities and stuff with varying levels of quality. You're gonna kind of it's not I'm not going to say that it's definitely the same as taking like a college course because it's not really. There's so much that you can skip, especially if you're auditing the class. Like you can just kind of take what you want and leave the rest, but I still like having access to all of these materials. So though I finished over my break, I finished Steps in Japanese for Beginners 1 Part 1, and there's like 12 different classes that goes into Beginners 2 and 3 as well. So I'm hoping to continue on with those into this year. And Spanish, basic Spanish, this is basic Spanish 1 from Valencia University. And they have levels beginner Spanish 1, 2, and 3. So I want to finish 2 and 3 as well. These were both actually very solid courses. The Japanese one has a lot of like video role playing elements where you pretend to be someone and you speak the certain parts in the video, which I really liked. It was a really nice way, like the way that they bridge their different materials was very satisfying, and I enjoyed it a lot. Basic Spanish also was really nice because they flopped back and forth between using Spanish for instruction and using English for instruction. And I liked turning off the closed captions to see if I could understand what they were saying in Spanish, or at least get the gist of in Spanish. Not only just to kind of test my language skills, but also to get an idea of how my students experience my classes, which was really informative and very helpful. And on top of that, it was just a very solid course. Both of these were solid courses, and I do recommend them. I am still working through just so the Divine Comedy, Dante's Journey to Freedom, Part 1, Inferno. They go through Purgatorio and Paradiso as well. But for Inferno, that's where I am right now, and they want you to read through the entire section of Inferno first before you even go through, and then you reread and you put your own annotations into the text and stuff on this different platform. And I actually have the platform up, so that I'm reading it right now, and right now I'm on Canto 8 of 34. But this is just I'm reading through it. I actually have a physical copy too. I'm just too lazy to go get it. And it's an entertaining read. I enjoy a lot of what was essentially Christian fan fiction. This was Dante's Inferno is essentially a self-insert Bible fan fiction. And you can see that with certain ways in which the narrator is presents information. Dante really loved the Greeks. So that is why the first ring of hell is the antechamber. And what that is that it's like pre-hell. There is no punishment to be really had in that particular circle of hell. It's for people that were alive before Jesus was alive, and therefore their big punishment is just living in a realm without divine presence. And so he put all the Greek philosophers, everyone that he really liked in history there. That's what he did. And then as we get further along, I've watched so many videos on Dante's Inferno. I really just find this particular piece of literature very interesting because there were actual popes of his time named in different rings of hell in lust, gluttony, and greed. In those different rings. I'm looking forward to finishing reading this. It's going to take me a long time to work through this whole course, but the good news is that I'm not on a time limit the way I was with these two, because you could upgrade and get like a certificate. You can't do that with this one because it's archived, but that means I get to go at my own pace without ever getting kicked out of the course, where with these two you have like 10 weeks to finish it, and then if you don't, you're kicked out. Um, but they're very interesting courses, and I quite like them a lot. I am also let's see if I can find it. Also really loving this Yo-Yo Tricks website. And the way it works is that you go through these different videos, and then there's like little XP things that you can check off to show that you have achieved those. I'm on the very first section, the beginner section, and I've learned like fun ways to wind the yo-yo, and I also know basic throw around the corner and walk the dog, but that's about all I know. Uh, but I've had a lot of fun learning different yo-yo tricks. So that's something else. I will say though, I did learn that there's a difference. There's three different types of yo-yos. There's an up and down yo-yo, which all it does is go up and down. And then there's a responsive yo-yo, which is similar to an up and down yo-yo, except when you drop it, it can stay at the bottom and spin. It won't try to come back up to you at all until you pull on it. And then but the responsive part of it is that it comes back up. Then there's unresponsive yo-yos, which when you let go and they roll down and sleep, it's not going to come back up if you pull on the string. And there's different tricks you can do based on which yo-yo you have. So I bought yo-yos from Amazon that has they're both responsive. It was a 2-pack. They're both responsive, but there is something in there where you can take the yo-yo apart and make it unresponsive. So I'm going to have one responsive yo-yo and one unresponsive yo-yo and try to learn more there. I I'm I can't help myself. I do a lot of different hobbies and I'm always curious and I have to try a bunch of things. Also, I've made significant progress on my Hello Kitty quilt. I'm making significant progress there, and with any luck, I will be able to finish that thing by the end of this month. That is my hope. That is my goal. Also, I finally started watching Bridgerton, and I'm kind of surprised, but I actually rather am enjoying it. And My Happy Marriage, if you have Netflix, check out My Happy Marriage. It's a good series. If you want anime Cinderella with psychic powers, it's a good series, and season 2 comes out on the 6th. So I'm so excited. By the time this goes up, it will already be out, and I will probably have watched all of it. But I'm so excited for it. So anyway, I've been recording for an hour. I think I need to stop. Thank you so much for listening to my long-winded, it's not a rant, but monologue, I guess. I hope you guys have a good year, a good week, and I will see you next time.